You're listening to the Life Coaching Secrets Podcast, episode 170. Did you know that life coaches are needed now more than ever? I'm Frank Macri, founder of Thriving Coach Academy. I've trained over 1,000 coaches and helped them launch their own successful coaching businesses. If you want to make an incredible income and impact as a coach and have a lot of fun doing it, I'll show you exactly how to get it done. This is Life Coaching Secrets. What's up, coaches? In this episode, I am here with a very special guest, one of our graduates from Thriving Coach Academy. Her name is Faye Casement, and she runs a part-time coaching business helping women that want to lose weight, but do it in a very loving way. So Faye, welcome to the show. It's so exciting to have you.
Hey, Frank, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to have this chat with you.
Cool. All right, so you went through Thriving Coach Academy, you got your certification. Those that might be watching this on video, we see it right behind Faye, displayed in her home office. So tell us, what is it that led you to do this particular work within weight loss? Tell us a bit about your journey that got you here.
Yeah, so I came into coaching, I got exposed to coaching when I was 40, whole 40 years old. So it took my wee while to get to get here. I can't believe that I got to 40 and I didn't know that it existed, basically. I stumbled across a weight loss coach who was teaching things a different way. It was all based around thought work. And my mind was absolutely blown to think that I'd been struggling all these years focusing on the food when actually it was my thoughts and it was my brain that actually needed the work and needed to change. And I went on, started off with her, and I ended up losing 70 pounds through that, without dieting, without counting calories, without counting points, pretty much all through thought work and just sort of common sense, applying the life coaching skills. And I was just like, I need to help other women. This is just crazy that I got to 40 and it was the first I'd heard of it. And yeah, I just from that moment on, I was like, I need to do this. I need to get this message out into the world. And if I can make a small ripple, then that's what I want to do. And so that's how it all started.
Beautiful. That's amazing. So, I mean, you have experienced the transformation in yourself, the inner and the outer, and now you're helping women do the same thing. So tell us, what are some of the signs that maybe someone would benefit from getting some weight loss coaching, maybe some things that they're noticing happening with their own health or their habits? What are the signs you typically look for when you're deciding if someone's a good fit to work with you?
Yeah. So I think for me, it's when you feel like you tried everything. I certainly felt like I'd got to the point where I'd tried everything under the sun, and I tried multiple diets. I would class myself as a very despondent dieter, where I was not, I was never happy with my progress. I never felt in control of my food. I have a corporate career, and so it was one of those where you're having thoughts like, oh, how can I have this corporate career and be this, this busy woman who's really successful and really able to, you know, control all these things and do these things in her life, but yet can't seem to get it together when it comes to eating and my food and looking after my well-being.
Mm.
And so yeah, there was definitely all those kinds of thoughts going on, and wanting weight loss all the time, wanting desperately to be different, and then bouncing from one diet to another, just trying to find a solution, but never really getting anywhere. And as I sort of started to say, when I introduced how I got into it, I realized through my journey that it was because I was looking in the wrong place.
Mm.
But the difficulty is, I guess, for people who are listening, is identifying that that's what you need. I think there's so much culture that goes around diet and health and weight loss especially, and
Mm.
we're all a bit brainwashed in that sense that we've got to do things a certain way. And so it's about recognizing that actually maybe the old ways aren't the ways that you need, and you need something new.
Yeah. Okay. So when people feel like they've tried everything and yet they're still stuck, they have the yo-yo dieting and they still have the desire to lose weight, but it's just not, the weight loss isn't sticking. So those
Yeah.
are the signs. Now, in Thriving Coach Academy, as you know, as a graduate, one of the big topics that we teach our students about is the rule book. Being
Mhm.
able to recognize what are the rules, often the invisible, unspoken rules that people have that hold them back, and then how do we rewrite the rules so they get better results. So in your expertise helping women with weight loss, what do you find are some of the rules or myths that some of your clients might be stuck with?
Yeah. And rules is a big one, going back a bit to the diet culture side of that. Again, every single diet I went on, I gathered another rule, or
Mm,
several million rules probably, about how I should eat, how I should move. And again, one of the things, if you go out online anywhere in any weight loss space and somebody's saying they're struggling with weight loss, some bright spark will pop up and say, you just need to eat less and move more. And of course, if it was as simple as that, we would all have, the health, the bodies, whatever it is, whatever you want to be, that we desired. And it's not as simple as that. It goes a lot deeper than that. And that's what I really help women with, is their relationship with food. Help them to identify the rules. And so we were talking a little bit before, but I've got a podcast. I'm up to episode 91. One of the episodes is Rule Schmools, the rule book, and it's all about the rule book, and the rules that we've gathered. And my methodology is actually in almost the reverse of that. It's all about food freedom and about intuitive
mm.
eating, and really getting rid of those rules so that we've got this loving relationship, healthy relationship with food and ourselves as a result.
Beautiful. X, I love it. Okay. Tell us another. What's another common rule that you see a lot of people having around weight loss and their health?
So again, calories, points, counting. It's like we're all mini accountants typing away on a calculator somewhere, trying to count something. But again, they're all just rules. And the weight that I lost, I didn't count one single calorie, one single
Wow.
point. It
Hmm.
was all based around really getting in touch with myself as a human being. I really found myself through that process.
Yeah.
It was no joke when it was life began at 40, and I just listened to my body. I learned how to listen to, as cliched as it might sound, mind, body, and soul, because our bodies will tell us genuinely when we're hungry. So it's actually like trying to go back to our second nature. When you're a baby, you cry because you're hungry, and you have that signal, but then we lose these signals over the years. And a lot of that again is still coming into thoughts and thought work, because we can have a lot of reasons for being hungry and feeling hungry
Yeah.
even though we're not actually physically in need of food. And so
Yeah.
there's all that type of work to do in the process as well.
I love it. Cool. So, I mean, it's kind of shattering all those things that we hear all the time, which is you just need to eat less, move more, you got to count your calories. And I love what you're doing, your approach. It's like, let's just tune into our bodies. Let's see our relationship we have with
Mhm.
food. And
Mhm.
let's get in touch with the intuitive part of
Mhm.
ourselves and see how
Mhm.
that can create the transformation we're seeking. It's just such a more
Mhm.
holistic way to approach health and weight
Mhm.
loss. And I know
Yeah.
that you are one of the unique ways that you really stand out is your anti-diet when it comes to weight loss. So can you speak more to what that means and the overall mentality you have around diets in general?
Yeah, yeah. Well, it really does come back to down to those rules. It's just like, we put ourselves under so much pressure, to have the perfect body, the perfect lives, whatever it might be.
Mm,
And really what I want is for people to find food and life freedom through my method, to really, and again, in the coaching certificate, we learn about the be do have model.
mm,
And so it really is about getting to the root of, well, who do we want to be?
mm,
And often when we start out on a weight loss journey, we are so focused on the having part that we again we can end up not having the being because we're so
Right.
focused on the calories, focused on the points, focused on whether we got our cardio in that week, and so then we're not living our best lives as a result, and then we wonder why we're not sustaining it because we're building it around something that we don't really probably want to do. And then
Right.
that triggers off all of our defense mechanisms because we can, in a lot of deep psychological impact if we're not careful. And of course, we know that, things can go too far for people. And again, having seen that in a loved one, I don't want anybody to ever experience,
Mm.
those kinds of things. And again, for me, again, one of the things that makes me unique is about the fact that I am body positive as
Mhm.
well, or body neutral, body positive, because again, I don't want anybody to have any shame around their body. So it's kind of a unique thing when I'm trying to go out there and marketing my coaching services because everybody's so used to sort of the weight loss message, whereas I do not want to use that weight loss message because, let's say in the end, the physical weight really isn't important. It's about who you are and how you feel about yourself. And if you feel amazing inside, you will start to feel and eat differently and amazingly on the outside, basically.
Yeah.
It's an inside out transformation.
Yes, that's a great way to put it. What I'm hearing is it's not like you put your focus so much on the weight loss. It's more about just putting your focus on who you are and your
Mm-hmm.
relationship to yourself and food. And the
Mm-hmm.
weight loss just happens to be like a byproduct
Yeah.
of that. Is that
Yeah.
kind of, am I hearing that correctly?
Yeah, so we still so if it so in it, the people that I work with are still there are still active steps, but it's all
Yeah.
about those 1% level up changes rather than again that sort of right, okay, it's Monday, I'm gonna, you know, do something drastic and only eat salad for the week or
Yeah.
whatever it might be. Because again, let's face it, we don't, you might want to, and if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But most people don't want to eat salad every day for the rest of their life. So it's all about balance and again, there's a lot of fear and guilt and shame that can come into that relationship with food, and we want to release that off and truly find food and life freedom as a result.
I like that. Not shaming your way to your results, but really
Yeah.
kindly and compassionately allowing yourself to get to where you want to be. So
Yeah.
we've been working with a bunch of clients since you've
Mhm.
graduated in the academy, and even as you were going through, tell us a little bit about what are the results that you're seeing happen with your clients?
Yeah, yeah. So it is a holistic. So it's not just about weight loss for me and the people that I work with. So I've got a client who, so far hasn't been binged at, for example. So she was struggling with binge eating. She hasn't binged at for 4 months
Mhm.
now, which is an amazing achievement after years
Yeah,
of binge eating.
yeah.
I've got people who again have been so, like I say, stressed out about food and the guilt and the shame and everything that's attached to it. And of course we all know that stress and everything like that builds our cortisol, and that then all impacts into our food. And
Mhm.
so it's a lot of stress reduction, so reducing anxiety, reducing stress, um and so it's other changes. It's not, like say, like you said, it's not just about the physical body, it's not just
Right.
about the weight loss, it's about looking at our whole lives.
Mm.
And then there's other people who are working on things like relationship with time or decluttering their houses, because again there's a surprising correlation between how we keep our house to how we keep
Yeah.
our relationship with food as well. Again, there's so much psychology that goes into that,
Mm.
and so it's kind of difficult to actually pinpoint one thing. But obviously the ultimate, what brings us together is the desire to work on weight loss, but actually what we've got is so much more.
Right, right. It has that ripple effect, right?
Yeah,
Healing that one problem ends up healing or fixing or resolving other problems in people's
yeah,
lives.
yeah.
Beautiful. So are you doing one-on-one coaching, group coaching, a combination of the two right now?
Oh, the whole lot.
The whole lot. Okay,
The whole
cool.
lot, yeah. Yeah. So I have a membership.
Uh-huh.
which people can access that has some group coaching in it. I've got group programs coming up as well.
Yes.
So they're going to happen periodically. They're not necessarily
Very
on
good.
sort of an evergreen rotation, and then one to one, subject to availability, because I do still have my full job, and so therefore
Yeah.
have to do that. That's why I always wanted, and Frank will remember from the various coaching that I got through the academy, that I was always adamant that I wanted to work one to many rather than one to one.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's predominantly where I go, so that again I can just help as many people
Yeah.
as I can. And Frank will remember, I'm sure, as well, a coaching session that he did on me as part of the business coaching that we get, whereas probably whining away saying about how, but I just want to help everybody with everything.
Totally normal.
Yeah.
And it's great though, because you've structured your business where you truly can scale it to help a lot of people
Yeah.
with while still having that flexibility with your own time.
Mm.
So, if you were to describe your coaching style in a
Hmm.
few words, how would you say is the approach that you take with your clients?
Yeah. Well, it's with kindness and compassion, because ultimately, as I said, for me, I feel like ladies have been through enough. So I say I'm not going to be charging them down with a stick particularly. It's about encouraging them to build their own loving boundaries, and through that method, I'm for me, I feel like I facilitate that, and I give them the coaching tools, I give them the coaching, give them the support to be able to effectively build their own method, their own life, because that for me is what I'm trying to give them, is the ability to build their own weight loss program through food freedom. Because there's no point me giving somebody a meal plan who doesn't like half the meals on it. We've all bought those before.
Yeah.
This is about them figuring out what they love and how they want to eat, and so, like I said, more of a facilitator and a support, and helping and guiding them, and obviously when necessary challenging, but always with love. Everything's with
Mhm.
love for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Challenging with love. Beautiful.
Mm.
So, and you have a process that
Hmm.
you've developed, you created, you take your clients through. I know it's
Hmm.
called the triple A way, and
Hmm.
that those A's each have their own meaning. So, can you tell our audience what is the triple A way? What's the process that you take your clients through?
Yeah, so my AAA way process, and for me, and it just works on everything, is awareness, action, and accountability. And so anybody who's ever done any kind of coaching, awareness is always going to be the key, isn't it? Getting that clarity, getting a really good understanding. And so I start off with getting them to identify their current relationship with food. So very much, again, very much through coaching them through a coaching model, effectively, where are they now? Where do they want to be?
Right.
And then again, we work together to fill in the gaps along the way. And so I start, I call it, which is about them getting an understanding of where they are
Mm,
literally right now, their current relationship with food, where they want to be.
yeah.
We then go into gathering awareness on a daily basis, which is where the intuitive eating, understanding our minds, bodies, souls, and what comes up to impact our relationship with food and eating and stress and all those kind of things. So we then have a daily process that we go through, which has got 5 daily steps,
Mhm.
and then it's about stepping into action. So again, once you've found out what is going on, then how are you gonna solve that? And again, solve it with love. So rather than normal, where it would be like, right, okay, well, I'm going to restrict and I'm going to do all these mean things to myself,
Mhm.
it's about finding loving ways to solve a problem. So it's actually I call it super sleuthing as well. We're actually super sleuthing our weight loss.
Super
um
sleuthing.
yeah, super sleuthing, and just trying to figure out, well, what is actually going on, what's going on underneath the hood, and how can I solve it with little 1% increments, so we don't scare ourselves. And then
Mm-hmm.
we've got accountability, which is ultimately, mixing in with other people, getting the coaching, learning how to take sort of radical ownership for yourself, your weight
Yeah.
loss, your life, everything. And so the whole thing comes together, and then we just keep going round and round and round, basically, until we've got it all nailed down. So
I love it. Very
mhm.
cool. So the AAA way, awareness, first step, you got
Yeah.
to start with the awareness, then
Yeah.
the action.
Yeah.
What are you
Stepping
going to
into action.
do? Of course, all with love. That's the
Hmm.
intention behind the action. And then the accountability from not just you, but also the other coaches of clients that you work with, the container you
Hmm.
create to make
Hmm.
sure that people are following through. Triple
Hmm.
A way. I love it.
Hmm.
And you have lots of gifts, lots of
Hmm.
freebies, watch lots of free resources for people to
Lots.
get started and also dip their toes into the water. So tell us about what is some kind of resource that you might want people to start with that you can provide?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, if you were to head to my website, there is many a free resource. So you've obviously got the podcast you can start off with. Those obviously are like training sessions into themselves.
Mm,
Then also as well, let's say there's then the next level on for a paid thing would be the membership where you get resources that go. So for each episode I do, there's a resource that goes with it to take it deeper.
nice.
Plus my food freedom fundamentals course. But in terms of gifts, then like I say, there's so many on there. So there's getting in touch with your perimenopause and menopause, because again, women of a certain age. We've got ditching evening, like ditching evening or mindless snacking. I've got one on giving yourself a self-love hug. So all sorts of free gifts on my website. You can also ask me anything on there. So if you go on there, fill in the form, ask me a question, I will either build some kind of content or resource or turn it into a podcast episode basically. So again, pick my brains for free. It's all on there. And then in terms of anybody listening, I do have a paid resource, which is my self-love workbook. But for anybody
Mm.
listening, I will give you a code.
Ooh,
Let's call it self-love. Let's keep it simple. There'll be a code self-love. And you can get that for free, and there's a month's free trial of the membership there as well. And then yeah, it's basically an everything page. You go on, there's literally everything. You can see everything I've created so far is all there for you to see.
wow, super generous of you, Faye. Thank you.
No
So
worries.
again, use that code self-love to get
Self-love.
that self-love workbook for
Hmm.
free, plus a little
Hmm.
membership trial into your program.
Hmm.
And why don't you tell us we'll put this all in the show notes too for everybody. What is your podcast name? What is your website name? Where could they go find all this?
Yeah. So pretty much everywhere. If you were watching on the video, you'll see that it says at Wellness for Women 3A with the number 3 A. And then number 4 as well. I probably should have picked a better website, but I didn't. So there we go. Wellness
Okay.
number 4 women 3a
Uh-huh.
dot com, and you will get to my website. But literally I'm everywhere on social media as Wellness for Women 3A. My Facebook group is Wellness for Women 3A, Pinterest, TikTok, you name it, I'm everywhere as that, other than my profile, which is Faye Casement 3A.
Got it.
and
Okay.
you will find me. And the podcast is called, you'll never guess, Wellness for Women. It's called the Wellness for Women Show, life, weight loss, and everything in between.
I love it. Cool. So the
Mhm.
Wellness for Women show, and we'll put those links below.
Mhm.
Wellness for the number four,
Number 4.
women 3A. Just remember the
Yeah.
triple A way
Yeah.
dot com. And that's their main website where they can go and gather those resources. And again, we'll put
Mhm.
everything in the show notes.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well,
Mhm.
Faye, you're crushing it. Thank you so much. We haven't spoken since you graduated in a while, so I love that I get the chance to reconnect with one of our graduates,
Mhm.
and especially you, because you put a lot of work into this, into your program. You showed up so fully to the whole process, the whole training. You received a ton of coaching, and you are a walking example of what is possible when you allow yourself to be coached. You've created the results for yourself, and you're helping other people do it as well. So thank you so much for being an inspiration for others and for making a huge impact in your women's lives. Of
Thank you. That's really kind.
course. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in to this episode, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, would you like access to powerful coaching tools you can use on yourself and clients right away? For being a listener of the podcast, I'm giving you a VIP guest pass to get a sneak peek into my coach training program. Inside, you'll learn our coach's secret tool they use to transform their clients' lives. And you'll also get a training on how to launch a coaching business. Just head over to www.thrivingcoachacademy.com/VIP to get started. I'll see you on the inside.